With just 1 week to go now until Election Day, candidates are attempting to shore up support in Wisconsin's Bow Wow counties. Carl Deffenbaugh has a look at the areas that each party is targeting and how undecided voters will play a role.
There are so many things at play 1 week to go here before Election Day. And to cover a wide variety of topics, we've dealt with some already. We turn to our political expert, Mordecai Lee, for more. One of the terms that has been thrown around so much in this election, it feels like especially, are the undecided voters, those who have not necessarily made a final decision between former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris. Realistically, in a key swing state like Wisconsin, is that a large group? Is that group actually going to decide this versus voter turnout overall?
No, I think you got it right. Because if 4 years ago Biden won Wisconsin by about 21,000 votes, and 8 years ago President Trump won Wisconsin by about 23,000 votes, out of 3 million votes cast, that's not even a percent. Yeah. And so you could have just 2% of the electorate who are undecided, and they'll throw the election one way or the other. You know, sometimes I wonder, how could somebody be undecided right now? Maybe, you remember Little Red Riding Hood, when she had a grandma who lived in the forest deep? Maybe there are like 20,000 people who live in the Nicolet National Forest. But I think what's really going on is that the voters are torn between the two emotional issues of this election: abortion for the Democrats and grocery prices for the Republicans. And so imagine somebody trying to decide, do I care more about this or more about that? That's a tough decision.
And that swing nature of those voters is the reason we're seeing all these campaign ads, which have been going on for months and months and months, and kind of hitting those different issues from both campaigns. What has been your response to the tone of the ads this year? There's always a negative side to them, but it feels almost expressly so this year. I
think you're really hitting it correctly, because it's a new low. In other words, the things they're saying are so brutal and so cruel and likely so untrue. And this is from both sides, both parties, that it just is really appalling. And okay, I'm a naive professor. I believe in voting on the issues and the facts. But the things they're saying about each other, it's just, I sort of fall back from my TV set. So I hope that this is not the trend for future elections. Let's hope that this is the end of that round.
There's certainly been plenty of fire, that's for sure. When it comes to what we'll see play out election night 1 week from now, and you'll be with our crews on election night breaking it all down, where do you expect, first of all, geographic areas of the state that you'll be watching closely on November 5th?
Well, we know we should look at Waukesha County, because there are some women, the sort of soccer moms of Waukesha County, who are pro-choice, but they're conservative, generally speaking. Are they going to trend Democratic or Republican? The other thing I'm going to look for is the Bow counties, as in Bow Wow.
Term, yeah.
You know, Brown, Outagamie, Bow, and Winnebago.
Okay.
Those are, the Fox Valley is sort of a swing district, ever so slightly, and I think they might be the ones who decide who wins Wisconsin.
And then very quickly, if you were each campaign one demographic group that you want to show out on November 5th for the Trump campaign and the Harris campaign, what would those be?
For the Harris campaign, it would be young voters. For the Trump campaign, it would be white men living in rural areas, high school graduates who aren't registered to vote, and who don't particularly like to vote, but they could make a difference in the election.
We know here in Wisconsin it can come down to just those few thousand votes. And Mordecai Lee will be here to break it all down on November 5th, laying the scene for us here 1 week out from Election Day. Thank you.
Thank you, Carl.